Hello everybody and welcome to Daytona Road Course for the second round of the Endurance of the Americas. And well, let's have a look. We are in the floodlights here and I am looking forward to another great race, another hour of endless talk. Well, I'm probably going to end up losing my voice, etc, like I did last week. But first and foremost, before we go through the grid, let's have a look at the championship standings as they stand now. And leading the championship on a total of 28 points is AXR Splash. In second place is MVP KB. Then we got Boskov, Adam Wolf, I think that is Addy on there. Big Dave, which is Nagy, who's lining up on pole position as you guys can see. Then we've got Deno, Pants, Dixon, Groot, Spadders, Brian and Stu Shelton rounds off the grid. Now unfortunately Brian, due to I think wheel issues, is unfortunately going to make the next few rounds, if not all the season. So it's a shame that he's not going to be able to make that. We have a grid of 12 drivers here today. A driver, hopefully Stu Shelton has no issues tonight because he obviously disconnected off the line last time, and also the other driver who we didn't have last week is Valtteri. So let's go through the grid. We've got Nagy on pole position and Boskov alongside him on the front row. We've got Dixon and Splash. Splash, the championship leader, of course, right up on row 2. Then we've got KB and Addy, Groot and Pants, Stu Shelton and Spadders or Sparrow, MVP Deno and Valtteri round of the grid. 12 drivers, and let's get ready for the engine that's rise as the 5 red lights light out here at Daytona Race Course. They go out and we're racing, and a lot of wheel spin there from third row. I think on the outside of the third row that was a driver, that was Splash. It got off to a bad start as we come sweeping across the line, but it is Nagy, Boskov and Dixon. Dixon's got off to a good one there, and KB's going side by side with Addy as we come through the first corner. Again, there's a lot of lag going on, but Nagy's got the inside line into turn 1. Oh, that's a driver off. That looks like KB off. I think there was another driver that went a little bit wayward as they all head towards. Again, a lot of lag here as Splashes up the inside of Spadders. Can he get the move done? Is he? Oh, he got a bit sideways there, and but he manages just about to hold on. But they're still side by side. We've got Stu Shelton, who's up to a good start. He's up into 5th place. Actually, Spadders is battling with Splash. He was so far back. That's on the grass there in the background. That looked like Valtteri, but still side by side there was Splash and Stu Shelton. Oh, Splash is gone! Splash has gone back. KB's obviously further back. So to his Pants, but Splash has dropped down the field. Let's look up. We've got Dixon and Stu Shelton going side by side. So Addy's actually managed to get past Dixon, and Stu Shelton is trying to challenge on the racing soft. I think he's the only one on the racing soft. He's has again such a lot of lag going on. But it is Nagy that leads the way here in his bright green Porsche, trying to take as much all of the track as possible. As Boskov is there in third. Then we've got Addy, Dixon and Stu Shelton go side by side through the last corner, and so too is Groot and TKM. Spadders further back, actually Groot having to go to the inside of the corner. Then we've got Valtteri there on his racing mediums. They're in 8th. We've got Deno there in 9th, and then first of the drivers have actually handed off so far this race, which is MVP Pants there in 10th, KB in 11th, and Splash is down in 12th. Nagy coming through turn 1 here, and you've got Boskov there in behind. Let's go on board with Boskov in the floodlit circuit of at Daytona as they now head towards the hairpin for the second time of asking. A little bit of a wide entry, but then you've got to try and cut in tight. He was actually probably would have liked to be a little bit tighter there on the apex, on the second apex there, would have Boskov, but he's just sitting there behind Nagy. Is he going to try him out and challenge early on, or is he just going to sit here for now? So Addy there in third. Then we've got Dixon and Stu Shelton still just about hanging on there in 5th spot. Groot is there in 6th with TKM Spadders and Sparrow trying to mount a challenge onto the inside there as he now looking to get to the outside here. which will now give him the switch back, and he goes back up the inside as Spadders. Groot, is he going to challenge back here? But of course this battling is just going to allow the drivers up in front to get away. Obviously Stu Shelton is on the soft tyres there, he's hanging on to Dixon, who's on the mediums. Obviously all the front guys on the mediums. I think Spadders and Groot are on the hard tyres as Groot's up the inside there. Oops. Annie's through is Groot, so Groot is back up into 6th spot. But has he finished here? Because he looked like he got a bad run here, and MVP Deno is charging here. So there is TK and Spadders, got Deno there, and also I think that is Valtteri there in 9th. Groot actually defends to the inside here as they head towards turn 1. And TK Spadders just gives him a bump draft into the first corner. Who's good? Oh, that looked very late there from Groot. It is very late. He's gone wide. TK Spadders goes through on him. So too does Ellis Deno. Ellis Deno actually gets the both of them here as Valtteri is got the inside line. Groot diving to the inside. Oh, almost gets the nose alongside TK Spadders as well, but just about holds on to it. But it is MVP Deno on the medium tyres, is back up into 6th spot in his Lexus. So Deno, who started in 11th, is up into 6th. He's on the mediums though. TK Spadders in behind is on the hard tyres, so too is Groot. Valtteri's on the mediums, a little bit of a wobble there. Pants is on the hards, and so too is KB and Splash. So Nagy holding the similar sort of lead to Boskov. Obviously Nagy's Big Dave, and he is sitting, let me just double check this, I want to make sure I get everything right. He's actually sitting in 5th in the championship. Of course on the last lap he had an incident with KB, who's obviously down the field due to a lot of connection issues on the first lap. Please Gran Turismo, can you sort that out? Because, well, it is going to start ruining more and more races here. But Nagy is holding a lead, a bit of a slender one. Boskov is just sitting there in behind there. And we've got actually side by side Stu Shelton and Dixon. Stu Shelton's looking towards the inside line here. Can't get it done this time around, but Dixon having a better race of it than he did last round. But Dixon holding the road at the moment to Stu Shelton. Of course, Stu Shelton is on those racing soft tyres here, so he's going to be fast. As oh, that is a great shot. That is as we've also got broken away there. Actually, Deno and TK Spadders here. Pants is actually up into 8th spot. Groot is up into 9th. Terry has dropped down into 11th spot, so I don't know what happened to Terry or Groot, but Pants has managed to jump the both of them, and these two have broken away here. So through this right-hander, got to be careful not to apex too early and not let it drift out too wide, because the understeer is just going to drag you towards the grass on the outside. And then through this left-hander, we've just got to watch the oversteer on the exit as TK Spadders just shows you on the racing hards how it can snap on you. The number 19 there, just it's sitting at the moment in the slipstream of MVP Deno, but obviously Deno is on the medium tyres here as he gives it one hell of a bump draft as we head into the chicane. Let's go on board with TK Spadders, and actually I was going to say a lot more confidence there, but goes very wide over the grass and loses an awful lot of time. So he has dropped off the back of MVP Deno. Can he close back up? That will be the question here. Dixon and Stu Shelton sort of spread out a little bit. I don't know if Stu Shelton still has a slight slipstream here, as they're hitting the 1:45.7s on the medium tyre. Addy is there in 3rd, and the front three seem to sort of... It actually looks like Addy is slightly catching onto the back of Boskov here. How are they on fuel, let's see? They're very, very similar between the three of them, but they just seem to be just giving each other space and just running their own race at the moment, and we'll see if it sort of they submerge on each other come to the end. Now we've got a couple of people who've commented, so we'll have a look, see what's been happening here. Let's have a look. Good evening, MVP Pants. You are currently sitting in 8th at the moment, so obviously we're only all at 5, but it's plenty of the race to come about, but people are continuing to lap on, and let's see how many mistakes there are. There hasn't actually been anywhere near as many mistakes as there was last time out. Maybe a little bit less lag, because obviously there was a lot of lag going on in the early stages of the first round, and nothing we can do about that. That has got to be all down to Polyphony, so sort your stuff out, Polyphony, because we want to have some good races. And so Nagy holding the lead here, just to a decent margin to Boskov. Then we've got Addy there in 3rd. We've got side by side here. Oh, almost missed this. Side by side we've got Stu Sheldon on the softer tyres here, side by side with Dixon on the back turn. Stu Sheldon on the outside, Dixon on the inside here, and they're going to go side by side into the first corner, across the line here. And I think Dixon's just about going to hold on to it, but again you can just see the lag it's just not great. And we've got a driver into the pits. Tegan Spadders has passed MVP Deno, so I don't know if that was a legitimate pass, or as Dixon defends to the inside here. So Dixon trying to defend to the inside here. Stu Shelton trying to go round the outside, but can't get it done this time around. Of course, again, with these two drivers, there is definitely a tyre differential here. Stu Shelton is on the softer tyres, Dixon's on the medium, so there is about sort of 8/10 advantage between the two drivers. Or Stu Shelton has a bit of 8/10 more grip, shall we say, than Dixon. I think that's sort of about the time difference. So Dixon has a little bit of time in hand compared to Stu Shelton. But is Dixon happy just to leave this, or could he sit in behind and maybe Stu Shelton could set some laps on the soft tyres, and then when he starts to drop off, then he can make the move. It is a game of who are you actually fighting in the race, and if you are fighting them, what can you do to obviously then you do want to fight them, but if you're not fighting them in the race, then you can sort of use them to your advantage here. But Stu Shelton, as God, it ruins it how much the lag is, but the spark, as the sparks fly, as Stu Shelton is in the slipstream here, he's looking to the inside this time. He went to the outside, but this time it's the inside. It is Mercedes versus Toyota coming into turn 1. Who's going to get the whole shot under the brakes? Stu Shelton to the inside. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. So Stu Shelton up into 4th. Dixon down into 5th. Up the front, they are still reasonably spread out here. Nagy still setting purple sectors. Boskov still just keeping him honest here. It's not being gapped that much. And he's starting to drift away a little bit compared to these guys. We've got Stu Shelton in 4th, Dixon in 5th. Then we've got Sparrow there in 6th spot. Listen to that engine roar. And MVP Deno is actually struggling. Looks like he's struggling to actually hold on here on his medium tyres. So certainly one of his bogey tracks by the sound of it, because it's definitely not the performance he was doing last time out at Trial Mountain. And we've got Groot there in 8th, Splash holding 9th spot, Terry in 10th, and KB and MVP Pants in 11th and 12th, but they have pitted from the hard tyres, and they've just got one more stop to go to the end of the race. So here is our race leader coming through the bank turn, and it just seemed reasonably comfortable. Just consistent lap times here from the front two. Addy is just hanging on, but not quite as quick by the looks of things as the front two. What are they like looking tyre wear wise? Look, it's identical. And fuel looks very much identical. Nagy probably has a little bit more fuel. Spadders is in. Spadders is in onto his from his hard tyres, so he's going to be going onto the mediums or softs. We'll check that in a second. Terry continues on. He's on mediums, so it's only Groot and Splash who are staying on the hards for now. Stu Shelton holding fourth spot. He's actually driven actually away from Dixon, so Dixon's actually lost a little bit of time trying to fight Stu Shelton off, because he was defending against Stu Shelton, but Stu Shelton now, he's got a little bit of clear space. He's actually managing to sort of stretch his legs a little bit on his softer tyres, but then as his tyres start to drop off, he's then going to become under threat from Dixon. We've got MVP Deno sort of in a little bit of no man's land on his racing mediums tyres. Groot isn't too far behind, but obviously I'm not sure what happened to him, because he seemed to like he might have had a bit of a moment, because he was on the back of MVP Deno and it looks like he might be edging him in slightly, but he has burned an awful lot more fuel, has Groot. Splash there in 8th place, Valtteri in 9th, and then we've got KB and is that side by side? It is. TK Spadders and MVP Pants going side by side through the left-hander here, and TK Spadders is going to get the run. We're on board with him here as he goes through on MVP Pants and up into whatever spot. He is on the medium tyres. MVP Pants is the same. Of course, all of these guys have pitted, so they've just got a pit stop behind, basically, or pit stop ahead. There's a little bit of a bump draft there from MVP Pants as he heads into the chicane. Can they keep it nice and tidy? It's so easy to get it wrong through that chicane. Just lose the rear and that's it. But nice and tidy from these two. But these guys, obviously, they're in a different sort of section of the race to these front guys. And Nagy, again, Boskov and Nagy just holding very similar gap to each other. I think it might have been nice for Boskov to be able to hold in that slipstream. It might have allowed him to fuel save a little bit more, or save his tyres, because then you don't have to brake as hard, corner as hard, etc, etc. But he's now just having to work a little bit harder because he's sitting there in third, just outside the slipstream than he would do if he sat inside the slipstream. As they come through the chicanes, using as much road as they can, and now on to the final bank corner. Nagy is currently currently got the fastest lap at the moment. He's also the only one who has got the leader lap points so far in this race, but that will all change when we get to pit stops, etc. We are currently 16 minutes into this race as Boskov improves, but Nagy goes purple with a 1:44.695. We've got Addy there in third spot. He's sort of, I think he's being edged out, but not by that much. Stu Shelton is still in fourth, and I don't think he's really being dropped that much by the front drop-overs either, but he is on those softer tyres. And I think a lot of the time he may have lost was that the time he did spend battling with Dixon, who is now, he's having a better race of it than he was last time out. But look at the lag though. That's like, when you're trying to go side by side with someone and they're moving around like that, it will make things just so much more difficult when you're racing. Especially as this race is in darkness, it makes it a little bit harder to see the other cars around you. But it is great to see the cars in darkness though, with the floodlights up. Dixon has been edged out by Stu Shelton. He's no longer got the slipstream of Stu Shelton, but Stu Shelton will come back to him because there's not really much of a gap between them. So we've got MVP Deno holding there in 6th, still in a bit of no man's land. We've got Groot there in 7th, Splash there in 8th, then we've got KB in 9th, and TK and Spadders in 10th. Was that a little bit of a moment there from MVP Pants on the power? Might just have been. He's actually not been able to keep with TK and Spadders for the time being. Don't know if TK Spatters is trying to push on or MVP Pants is trying to conserve his fuel. We'll have to wait and see when the pit stops come for the next stint. Nagy still holds the lead though. Then we've got Boskov in second, and everyone really is just sort of settled into their own race here. I might just do an onboard lap with one of the front three in a second to talk you through the lap, because we haven't really done that as of yet, as my clock goes off. So as we come towards the end of the lap, let's go on board with Nagy. As he comes into, first of all, he's got this last chicane. We'll go through this quickly. We've got quite a few comments coming through, so I'll have a quick look at that. Right, so we come towards around the last bank turn of the lap, and then we start in lap number 12, and we are on board with the race leader Nagy in his Porsche. So coming towards the line, across the line now, and that's 44.8, and through this first corner, and we've got a trail brake coming in. Spot your braking, hit the second apex and get on the power as early as possible when into the outside curve there. Then you've got this next hairpin here, and you sort of brake at the cut through on the inside. You don't want to turn in too early, because then it will drub you out too far wide, and you don't want to take that first curve on the outside there. As soon as you take that, the rear will snap on you. Then we've got this sort of flat out left hand kink, and then we've got this right hander that sort of opens up a little bit on itself, but you don't want to get on the power too early, because then it's going to drag you wide. That wasn't probably as early on the power as Nagy would have wanted, as he now brakes into this corner, clipping the curve on the inside, getting the power as early as he dares without the rear sliding from him. It manages to stay in check that time around. So through the first bank turn, and now we'll straighten up and then head towards the S's. So this S's, you've got to spot your braking zone. Look at for the one big board on the right hand side. There it is, braking on that. I'm going to take a good amount of curve. I swear, as soon as I start stream, my bloody phone goes on. So it's just that last chicane is all about confidence, but not being too aggressive on the turning, because then the rear's just going to step away from you, and you're not going to be able to hold on quite a lot. So that is that gone. Oh, that was a little bit of a moment there actually from Nagy that time around through turn one. Stu Shelton is in from his soft tyres, so that is interesting. So we'll see where he comes out compared to the rest of the field. There is KB sitting there in 9th spot, second in the championship. Obviously had his incident on the first lap as he comes through the S's here. And does he keep it nice and tidy? Yes, he does. But look like TK Spatters got a better run there through those S's, as Groot and Splash are in on their hard tyres. They've got a lot longer than KB, Spatters and Pants did. But they are off their hard tyres, and they shall continue on to, my guess will be the mediums. Stu Shelton's still in the pit lane, so we'll see where he comes out compared to these guys. But obviously these guys have burned quite a bit of fuel, so I'm guessing the others are going to obviously pit in. There, out to the pits comes Stu Shelton onto the medium tyres. So he is on the same tyres as the people around him now, but obviously on a lot more fuel, but a lot fresher rubber. So now MVP Deno is up into 5th, still yet to pit. Dixon in 4th, still yet to pit. And then we've got the top 3 of Nagy. Now comes into the pits, so that's quite early actually. So too does Boskov. Both of them are into the pits. Boskov and so through too is Addy. So all the top 3 are into the pits here. Dixon continues, yes he does, and takes a lead at the lap point. Lovely jubbly. He will take that point on board. So Nagy in, Boskov in, Addy will be in now. There he is. So that will promote if he continues. Yes, he does continue on. So Deno's up into 2nd place. Everyone's up now refueling. We've got KB there in 6th, Tegan Spatters in 7th, and Spatters has actually closed in on KB a little bit. I don't know if he's on the edge of the slipstream at the moment. I think he is a little bit, yeah, so he's just on the edge of the slipstream of KB there. Addy is on the hards, Boskov also on the hards, and Nagy also on the hards, and they're going to go for a nice sprint on the softs for the last stint. And actually, yeah, so Nagy's on the back now of MVP Deno here. Now, can he make his way by here? They're on the hards, Deno's on the medium, on a very worn out set of the mediums. Now, oh, you've got to be careful on that curb, Nagy, because if you get on the power on that curb too early, you're going to have the rear snap on you and you're going to end up facing the wrong way. But he manages just about to hold on to it. But yeah, Nagy has just come out just behind MVP Deno. Now, is he going to get held up at all? He's actually had a better pit stop by the looks of things as Boskov, or maybe a better end of the stint here, because that gap seems to have grown. So too has the gap to Addy in behind. As Dixon now pits from his medium tyres, and he will now, it's 25 minutes in, so he will now go on to set softs and hard. Does MVP Deno take the lead? Well, he hasn't gone into the pit, so MVP Deno takes the lead, crosses the line to lead a lap, and will get an extra point here. And well, it's not been the best of races for him, but the leader gets to get something to brag about, and he holds the lead here just ahead of Nagy. Now, how long can he hold it? That is the question. As we now, I'm going to go on board here with MVP Deno. Got a little bit of fuel still left to go. And we're looking back at Nagy in the fluorescent Porsche in behind. Nagy isn't quite onto the gearbox of MVP Deno as of yet, but will he get close enough? Because Nagy doesn't want to get stuck behind MVP Deno, as that was wide at the apex. It would have delayed his power getting on the throttle that time around from Nagy. So will he be able to, or Nagy won't be able to challenge this time around into the S's. So MVP Deno still holds that lead to Nagy, who sort of pulled a little bit out of the slipstream, maybe to get in a bit in the mirrors here through the S's. And that was a good run there actually from Nagy by the looks of things. It looks like he's closed up to the back maybe slightly. Obviously he'll still be getting those hards up to temperature and getting used to the hard tyre, but Nagy doesn't want to hold it too long behind MVP Deno, especially if he starts not going at the speed that Nagy would be wanting, as we've got a driver in the pit there. Not quite sure who that is, but yeah, if Deno is holding up Nagy, Nagy is just going to be coming towards Boskov in behind, and actually that was wide there from Nagy, so we're getting a few mistakes here from our race leader here, following in the dirty air of the Lexus that we are on board with, and certainly not the crispy clean driving that we saw in the first stint from him whenever we went on board with Nagy. And That was a very shallow entry there from Nagy, but he has actually made a net gain here on MVP Deno as they now head onto this last corner, but before they start onto the oval part of the circuit, and Nagy is looking very, very close here. Going to go on board with him, and he's actually now in the slipstream, he's in the tow. Can he make a move into the S's, or is he going to save it maybe for turn 1? In the slipstream of MVP Deno, we got the thing is though, there's a tailwind, I think. Is it a tailwind? Yeah, a tailwind into this first corner, so he's not going to quite get the slipstream effect through this, as he's missed the first left-hander a little bit, but MVP Deno looked like he made a bit more of a mess of it than actually Nagy did. So we're now, as actually MVP Deno decides, right, you're not going to overtake me on track, I'm pitting now. So whenever Nagy actually gets close, Deno's like, yeah, actually no, I want to pit, you're not actually going to have the satisfaction of passing me, I'm going to put you off slightly, make you make mistakes, and now I'm going to pit. And in comes MVP Deno. Nagy resumes his race lead with Boskov there in second. Addy is going to be in third. KB in fourth. Spadders in fifth. And then we got Dixon in sixth. He's on the soft tyres as Dixon. Just ahead of Stu Shelton on the racing mediums. MVP Pants, they're in ninth. We've got Groot in 10th ahead of his teammate Splash in 11th and Valtteri in 12th. So Splash on the comeback charge, he's now got his teammate just ahead of him. Now they are both on the same tyres. Will Groot give way to his teammate here, or will he make it difficult for him? We'll see as they now come towards the first corner, and Splash is on a shallow line, and I think MVP Deno is in onto the hard tyre. Oh, sorry, he will be coming out from the hard tyres. And he comes out in front of these two. Big moment there from Groot, and oh, what the hell just happened there with Splash? It just, again, the lag of this game isn't ideal. We are on board here with Splash now, as that was very, very wide there from Groot as he lets his teammate pass. So that was, I don't know if that was orchestrated or Groot just saw the opportunity to let his teammate by, and Splash is up into 10th spot, past his AXR teammate. Valtteri holding 12th. Deno is in 9th there, behind MVP Pants and Stu Shelton. Dixon and Spadders. KB has actually extended his gap to Spadders now. We've got Addy, Boskov and Nagy there in the lead. And again, the gap seems very similar between the three of them. One thing we've also got to keep an eye on is that was a lot of sliding there from Nagy that time around, so it doesn't seem overly comfortable with those hard tyres at the moment. Certainly nowhere near as comfortable as he was on the mediums. As he comes through the right hander, looked like he picked up a bit of grass there, getting nicely on the power, but Boskov, that gap looks like it shrunk a little bit. So have we got a battle on here for the lead of the race? Through the left-hander, and yeah, Nagy's 1.1 seconds down on his best, and his best was on the medium tyres. Now the delta time on the medium tyres to the hards, I didn't think was that large. As he now comes towards the chicane, we'll go on board with him through the chicane, because I didn't talk you through this. So you've got to brake at the one board there on the left-hand side. You're going to take plenty of curb, get off the power, and then as soon as you've got it straightened up nicely, you get back on the power, just drive it out. So you sort of want to get on the brake sort of when you get off the power in the middle part. Once you get it turned in nicely for the second right-hander, then you can get nice on the power, straighten it up, and that gives you the best possible run onto this back straight. Nagy still holds the lead to Boskov, but that gap is slightly shrinking, but the gap is massively growing to Addy there in third. It has massively grown, so it's definitely looks like it's a two-horse race between these guys. KB is sitting in fourth, and we've got Tigger Spadders in fifth. Dixon is very, very is actually closing in 6th on the on the soft tyres here. We now come towards the first corner. We'll go on board here with Dixon. We had yellow flags into turn 1. Looking for a move maybe on the inside there. That was a bit audacious. Wheel on the grass as well. We now head towards the hairpin here. Oh, that's a big dive there from Dixon. Makes the move stick. I'm not sure. Tegan Spadders has dropped back quite far there, but it was a big dive from Dixon. He did not want to hang around much at all there. As they now come up to lap Valtteri. Valtteri getting out of the way very nicely there. Fair play to Valtteri, but Dixon really did not want to hang around there on his soft tyres. He wanted to waste no time at all and goes up the inside with Tegan Spadders into the hairpin there. We've got MVP KB there in 4th. He should be coming in soon because he's very, very low on fuel there. Addy there in 3rd. We've got Boskov and Nagy still holding a very similar gap, and still no real challenge from Boskov at the moment. Sort of definitely needs a lot more. Need a lot more sort of close in a little bit from Boskov to actually try and mount a challenge here, because he's still not in the slipstream here, and he's just on the teetering edge as KB is now in onto his medium tyres, and he will now go on to the softs for the final 25 minutes of the race. So, into the right-hander here. And Boskov is actually a lot closer here, so maybe we have got a challenge incoming from Boskov. What are they doing on fuel? Boskov is looking better on fuel than his teammate. So, is there going to be a challenge this time around? Are we going to have to wait a lap? We're coming towards the S's here, and I think we're just about in the range of the slipstream here as we come towards the S's. As we'll go on board through the S's. Can he get a better run through these S's to maybe mount a challenge into turn 1? He's not going to be close enough into these S's. And it looks a lot tidier there from Boskov through the S's, and Nagy might be susceptible from an overtake as we come through the back corner. Nagy hasn't got the best run, and here comes Boskov to walk. We're coming towards the first corner. Obviously this is a massively long straight with slipstream enabled, and Boskov will be swinging to the outside here. Side by side, Boskov takes the lead for the first time this race, and he takes the fastest lap. A lead lap with him as there was a little bit of contact on the apex there. Nagy looking towards the outside there. As oh, that was slightly on the grass for Boskov, but he holds it in. Nagy trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. They're still side by side. These two teammates going with it hammer and tong as TK Spadders is in to the pits, but we'll keep with these two as Boskov is trying to challenge. We'll now head towards this right-hander. Nagy holding the inside line there. Boskov trying to look to the outside. Can he get the switch back? No, he can't. But it's still not over, ladies and gentlemen. We now head towards the left-hander here. Can Boskov get a good run through this left-hander? Yes, he can. Can he get the nicely on the power? He's now going to have the slipstream as MVP Pants is also in. They'll be both onto the onto a soft set of tyres. But Boskov really is trying to mount a challenge here. I was saying he needs to get closer to be able to challenge. They'll be coming into the pits very, very soon as we now head towards the S's. Boskov looking maybe towards the inside, can't do it this time around. Boskov, he's sort of hung back for most of the race, and I think both of these drivers will be in at the end of this lap. But this is going to make things very interesting. I thought, are we going to have a race for the lead? Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. Boskov is saying no, I'm not giving up on the battle for the win, as they both come into the pit lane. Nagy burning a lot more fuel than his teammate as well. So we look down the field. Addy's also into the pits. Dixon, does he continue? I think he will. Yeah, Dixon does continue. Will he? How long will he continue on going on for? Because he is on those racing softs. He probably want to extend these tyres for as long as he can on the fuel he's obviously on as well, before those before they either drop off or he runs out of fuel. Stu Shelton now in second. Let's see how these guys go, because Boskov and Nagy, obviously Boskov won't have to refuel for as long because he's got a tiny bit more fuel on board, and Boskov has jumped his teammates in the pit stops. But he has a little bit less fuel on board. Splash is actually between the two of them on the mediums, and this could make it interesting because Nagy on the soft tyre cannot hang around because Splash still has a lot of fuel on board here, so he's surely not going to go straight into the pits here. But yeah, Boskov will not want to sit behind for Nagy won't want to sit behind Splash for too long. He'll want to make the move very, very quickly. He's right on the back here of Splash, the championship leader. Splash has obviously not had the best of races so far. And is he going to challenge into the S's? Or is he going to have to wait till later in the race? Nagy will go on board with him as again Splash is just lagging all over the place. And I don't think he's going to be into the S's. It's going to have to be into another corner. He's going to have to sit behind for the S's, which is painful. Oh, there's a bit of contact actually there from Nagy there. He's actually nerfed Splash a little bit wide there. Has he backed out? But yeah, that just nerfed Splash onto the grass there. As Nagy got very, very keen to try and get past Splash, or try and lose as little time as possible, as he's now got the slipstream there of Splash. So he goes round the outside and will take the position there. But that was a little bit clumsy actually, because obviously Splash is on the medium tyres, but Splash is having none of it. He looked towards the inside. Oh, I think he hit the inside wall there. Did Splash? No, he didn't. But he wasn't going to take no for an answer there. But Boskov's actually had a bad corner. Because Nagy is still on Boskov, and he's going to have the slipstream. You've got to be careful over that curve, because the rear can snap on you whenever you go over that. But Dixon still holds the lead, so we've actually had 4 leaders this race so far. Boskov, Nagy, no, we haven't had Boskov lead as of yet. Sorry, I got that wrong. We haven't had Boskov lead. Obviously, he's got the net race lead at the moment, but he hasn't actually led a lap at the moment. As I've got, there we go. That's the camera view I was going for. But yeah, so Dixon still holds that lead, and we'll try and hold it for as long as possible. Wait, no, I think, well, Boskov did cross the line first at some point, I'm pretty sure, but Nagy managed to get the lead back on him, so not sure whether that would have counted or not. I'll have to double check on the rules. But Boskov still holds this position here. Nagy is not too far behind, and he will have a little bit more fuel to burn. We've got 18 minutes to go in this race. And Nagy sets his new fastest lap here. As it gets very, very close, does Nagy through the S's here. And this is going to be a good battle, I think, once again between these two. Nagy versus Boskov. Boskov is really going to have to fight for his life here. It seems like Nagy was not comfortable at all on those hard tyres, but he seems like he's got a lot more comfortable since he's headed onto these soft tyres. Same car though, these two. Same car, same tyres, slightly different fuel rod. Boscov slightly lighter than Nagy, so maybe Nagy's able to rev the car out more. But these two have 17 minutes now to decide who will take this victory, because I don't see it being anyone other than these two. As Dixon leads, Stu Shelton seconds, and this is a battle for third, but the net lead of the race. Addy there in fifth. We've got KB, who's actually not far behind Addy. And was it these two that... No, it was Nagy and KB that collided at the last round, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but KB, once again, like he did at the first round, he's coming back into this race. So Addy not too far ahead of KB, and can KB challenge on the... Oh, hold on. Boscov's had some sort of incident there. I am going to go back a couple of seconds. Right, so Nagy trying to look to the outside of Boscov here. I should have stayed on here. Here comes Nagy to the inside of it. Oh, a little bit of contact as Boscov tried to cover it off, and Nagy will now take the lead from his teammate. So Nagy leads the way. Boscov down the inside and gets the loop back on him, on his teammate. I wasn't expecting that, but he dived from so far back. He got his teammate back. This is not over. This is not over. Nagy will be trying to challenge here. Seems like there's no love lost between these two, because Nagy is all over the back here. And that was so close to disaster between the two of them. Maybe Boscov felt a little bit hard done by through the first corner. There was contact, and Nagy and Boscov did have to divert a little bit wide. But Nagy is going to have to try again if he wants this lead. So, Boscov versus Nagy for the race lead. Addy versus KB for either net P3, I think. But Nagy is now once again in the slipstream, in the tow as Stu Shelton now pits from his medium tyres. He will now go on to the hards. But Nagy is so close. Oh, he's lagging all over the place. But these two are so close as Nagy is looking to... is going to have to go to the outside as Boscov has covered the inside. But now will he go to the inside? No, he doesn't. Under the brakes for turn one. Can't get the move done this time around. But now we got the hairpin where Boscov dived down the inside of Nagy. Can he do it this time? Not this time around. Stu Shelton, let's see where he comes out compared to everyone else. He's still in the pit, we'll come back to that. But Nagy versus Boscov. Dixon is in the lead, but still has to pit onto the hard tyres. And these two, still nothing between them. Nagy versus Boscov. Dixon still has a few more laps to go on his fuel. Not sure about his tyres, how long those will last. Obviously you don't want to hit the cliff on the tyres. Once you do, it's a long way back to the pits. Right, S is now Boscov versus Nagy. We're going to go on board with Nagy. Can he get the move done here? Through the banked final turn. And these two, still nothing separates them. Nagy's going to get a nice slipstream here on his teammates. And can he get by? He's looking to the outside here, the side by side. Oh, the two teammates round the outside. Is Nagy trying? Oh, what the hell happened to Boskov there? He's got damage. He's got front damage there. It looked like he lost it under the brakes, lost the rear, and he hit the inside wall, and that is the race lead for Nagy. And that is actually going to be a big lead for Nagy, because Boskov has got to try and get rid of this damage and try and. This is now going to be damage limitation on the gap, and now he's going to have a lot of work to do, because Nagy has a decent margin over his teammate. And if Boskov is going to challenge back on his teammate, he's going to have to do a lot of hard work. Nagy has a bit more fuel than his teammate, and goes purple to sector number 2. So through the S's once again, and Nagy. Oh, what's happened to Boskov there? Oh, it's not been a good lap there from Boskov. So through the S's. Oh, he's completely must have missed his braking there, and the game has reset him in the middle of the S's, and that, I think, is race over from Boskov. We've got Addy and MVP KB now. These two looks like they've got a very stable gap between them. This is what it's been most of the race here. KB in 5th, we've got Tico Spatters in 6th, Stu Shelton on the hard tyres to the end. And MVP Pants on the softs. So, yeah, we've got Stu Shelton will be coming towards, and we've got yellow flags in the first. That is, KB's had an incident through turn 1. A lot of wheel spin on the exit there. KB's been off. Now he's dropped down into 6th. He's there behind TK Spatters. Dixon still yet to pit. Still, he will be coming in at the end of this lap, so we'll see where he comes out. But KB's had an incident. Stu Shelton obviously will be coming towards MVP Pants, who isn't too far behind. Splash is now past MVP Deno for 9th spot. Deno there in 10th with Root. Got a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch MVP Deno, and Valtteri there in 12th. Dixon now in. Right, okay. Tegan Spatters is in 5th, ahead of KB. Now that looks like it might be the closest battle on the track, but obviously we've got Stu Shelton and MVP Pants that were side by side on the exit of the S's. And MVP Pants is through. Stu Shelton looking to the outside. But he's not going to go all the way around the outside of the S's and has to cut in behind. But he's gone slightly wide through the S's, and he's lost the slipstream there just in one small sweep. And now he's going to have to try and lap as fast as he can to hold off Splash in behind. Where does Dixon come out? When he comes in out in 2nd, behind Nagy, who obviously he's not going to catch on the hard tyres unless Nagy makes any sort of mistakes. His race is now to try and fend off his teammate Boskov, who's on the soft tyres. We got Addy there in 4th, Tico Spatters in 5th, KB in 6th. So now this race is all about, well, we've got these two here in 5th and 6th with Tico Spatters and KB, who may close up toward the end depending on each of their lap pace. We've got Stu Shelton, who is dropping towards Splash and Deno. Stu Shelton. It's good to have him actually racing tonight. Obviously disconnected almost immediately at Trial Mountain. But he is dropping towards Splash, who isn't too far ahead. Dixon, looking at the minimap, isn't too far ahead of Boskov either. So really is sort of a race of, can you hold on the hard tyres? 7 minutes to go in this race. And Stu Shelton is still dropping towards, slowly but surely dropping towards Splash. There is Splash in behind. Of course, these two have the same car, but completely different tyres. And Splash is closing. We're on board with him now. Through the left and through the right, and then we come towards the hairpin. And actually Dixon Boskov looked quite close as well, so I'm just going to quickly head over to them, and they are very close. Dixon versus Boskov. Surely this is just a battle that isn't going to last that long. Dixon, is he going to defend coming into the S's, or is Boskov just going to breeze past? Well, Boskov looks like he's just happy just to sit there through the S's and get him maybe on the back onto the main straight. Through the S's they go. Boskov with the soft tyres, Dixon with the hard tyres. And surely this is just a losing battle for Dixon, but he will try and fend him off for as long as possible. On to the main straight here. Boskov with the slipstream, with the toe. Can he find a way by? Not on this straight anyway. This is obviously the battle for second place. The other thing we've got to bear in mind is the longer Dixon keeps Boskov behind, the more up to temperature those tyres will get. But Boskov is through on the inside mid-corner on his teammate and gets it into second place. Now will Dixon be able to hold off his other teammate Addy? They're in fourth. Stu Shelton being forever closed by Splash. We're now going to go on board Splash, and actually saying that, I don't think that gap has closed that much this last lap, but is it going to close more this time? And we've got just under 5 minutes, just over 4 minutes left to go on this race. Nagy lead, Boskov second, Dixon third, Addy in fourth, T.S. Badders in fifth, KB sixth, Hansen seventh, Stu Sheldon eighth, Splash ninth, Deno 10th, Groot 11th, and in 12th is Valtteri, but Splash is looking very, very close here. And it's a bit of a moment there from Stu Shelton on the exit of the left-hander. Surely this is the chance Splash has been waiting for. He is in the slipstream. As we head towards the S's, or is Splash going to wait for the exit of the S's? They are lagging around all over the place, are the two drivers. As we now head towards the S's, Stu Shelton, I think, is going to hold on through the S's. And Splash is just going to try and get the best possible run through the S's and maybe get a run into turn one. Is he close enough for the slipstream? It's very hard to tell. I think just about, but he's right on the edge of it. And I don't think there's going to be a move this time around into turn one. Stu Shelton just looks like he's just about to keep him at bay, and actually this has been a very bad lap from Splash. He's 2.5 seconds down on his best as Addy now sets the fastest lap, and he's trying to close down his teammate of Dixon. And that is the gap, ladies and gentlemen, that is between the two of them for now. Tegan Spadders there in 5th. Just about keeping KB at bay for now. But this is the battle. Splash came alongside there. Can he make the move into the left, into this right-hander? He's looking to the outside. Will he get the switch back? He does get the switch back, and I think that is Splash through up into 8th spots. But Stu Shelton's looking towards the inside, can't do it. So Splash up into 8th, Stu Shelton in 9th, then comes MVP Deno. And can MVP Deno get by on Stu Shelton? He's 3/10 a lap quicker than his previous best. He can smell the blood as we come towards, for these guys, the last lap of the race. We're going to go forward because Dixon is forever being closed by his teammate, but I don't think these guys have enough time. They have 2 laps to go, these guys. Tegan Spadders and KB, they're in 5th and 6th. Splash, Pants, Splash and Stu Shelton. We haven't really seen too much of MVP Pants. He's sort of pretty much been on his own for the whole race, actually. But Stu Shelton, he's not got much of a gap between himself and MVP Deno, so can Deno put on a challenge as we come on to the last lap here? Stu Shelton just trying to stay consistent. MVP Deno also will be trying to keep his tyres alive, but there is not much between them now. We're going to come into this left-hander, and it's then going to swing into the sort of this long hairpin, defend to the inside of Stu Shelton. But this is where Splash got him on the switchback. Can MVP Deno do it? No, he can't. Now into this left-hander. We're coming towards the end of the lap here, and Deno, oh, a little wobble from him there. And that is not going to help him. He's not quite close enough for the S's. The only thing he can really hope for is to get a good run through the S's and maybe get the slipstream and the toe to the line. KB's coming to the line now, and I think this is going to be his last one. Maybe also for Tegan Spadders. Those two aren't going to swap positions now. We're going to go towards Stu Shelton and MVP Deno, and I don't think MVP Deno is going to be close enough. Coming towards the line, we have reached the hour mark, so we are onto the final lap, but Stu Shelton will hold on. KB is finished in 6th. MVP Pants will come home in 7th. Splash will come home in 8th. But these two, very close at the end, but it will be Stu Shelton that holds on in 9th. Deno comes home in 10th. Group will be the next one to finish here. And we are going to go over to Addy, who has actually got past Dixon. I'm not sure where that happened, but Addy is now up into 3rd spot. Tegan Spadders there in 5th. Groot now will come towards the line to finish. Coming to the line, Groot comes home in 11th. And he will be hoping for better races next time around. Valtteri will come home in 12th. Here he comes, Valtteri in 12th. But the victor, and held the lead very comfortably in the first stint. He struggled on the medium, on the hard tyres, but he's come back strong on the soft tyres and outraced Boskov, and will take race number 2. Nagy wins race 2. Boskov made it mountain a challenge in the second stint, but couldn't hold on in the third stint. Will come home in 3rd. Addy sort of has been in his own little race and comes through in 3rd. Dixon completes a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the IGT SH drivers. And running out of fuel comes home TK Spadders in 5th. And thank you very much for watching. And Nagy is your race winner. And we'll see you guys for the next race.